folks, I'm Tom Vasel and welcome to Look Back. Look Back is a show in which we take a look at games and reviews that we did 1 year, 5 years, and 10 years ago. So without further ado, here we go. Last year, I was at a convention this past week last year, so I only reviewed one game. It was actually a re-review, Why I Love series I was doing of Lahav. And Lahav is one of the few games that I rate a 10. I still rate it a 10. I often get asked by people like, do you ever get to play games you enjoy? I'm like, yeah, I have all these games behind me, but I don't play them all the time. Lahav is one that I play 3 or 4 times a year for sure. And you might think that's not a lot, but it really is for me, considering I'm always playing hundreds and hundreds of new games. But I'll still go back to this one because I just adore the whole every action is a great action concept that it has. 5 years ago, I took a look at several games. First, Beer and Vikings, which is a horrifically take that game about trying to get drunk. It was, I believe, a sequel/expansion to Saki and Samurai. Yeah, just the whole thing was just a mess. Blah. Flying Cheese, this is a dexterity game I reviewed with my kids where you were putting cheese into this grid box, which looks really cool, but ended up just being pretty random, unfortunately. I also took a look at Day of the Dead, which had some pretty nice minimalistic artwork as you have these spirits that are fighting each other. But convoluted rules and just the game itself being a little more convoluted than it needed to be had some cool ideas, but fell just short. That's Day of the Dead Shadow Days, very similar. It's like a deck building style game. The problem with this game was it was very slow, and also the game never seemed to get better as it went by. Like these games, usually you should feel like you're getting better. This one did not have that feeling to it. Other than that, I had some, again, good ideas. When Amon, this is a wooden Tetris-style game, putting them in this thing, really nice pieces. It's passable. And then we have Legends of Andor. Now, this one has dropped for me some. Now, Z loves this game. He really does. I like it, too, but it's very puzzly. There's a lot of these, fantasy games that they are actually a puzzle rather than a dice fest. And of course, obviously, the big one being Gloomhaven. Legends of Andor is more like that than most, and I still enjoy it. I think it's fine. Just sometimes I want to have a little bit of luck, I think, involved. Well, this one has a little bit of luck, too, but I guess I'm not really sure why it's fallen as much. Maybe I think just because other games have come along and have filled that niche for me, like Gloomhaven. Then Democker. Now, I didn't play this game 5 years ago. It was just a re-review of it, but Democker, still one of my favorite heavier style games about the German election. It was an eye-opener to me how the German elections worked, but the whole concept of working in different districts and changing your positions and trying to get votes using media, there's just a lot of cool things. The game is not as complex as it looks, but it does take a long time to play, but I enjoy it. Democker. 10 years ago, I played Plateau, which was an abstract game where you kind of had hidden things, very small grid. Just really fell for me. Looked nice, but the game did not play well. And Freyas Folly, which is a game which you would go down into the caves and bring back up gems. I'm docking at a point now because it really hasn't aged as well, and the artwork is pretty bad. It's just not, there's a lot of games about getting gems and things. This one doesn't really stand out 10 years later. Those are the reviews I did 1, 5, and 10 years ago. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Look Back.